What's going on, everybody, and welcome to my review of Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. I really do appreciate it. So the film follows a group of thieves set out to retrieve a lost relic as things get somewhat messy as they come across dangerous paths filled with mystic forces, dragons, and traitors. So this film was brought to me by a friend of mine whom I went with to see, and when he showed me the trailer, I was intrigued. I never played the games, I never got into that, I never gave a shit, so I was walking into this pretty much blind. Then I found out that there was another one that came out in 2000, and I watched the trailer. Oh god, I do get that film had come off the release of pretty much Mortal Kombat, Annihilation, and Spawn, and all of those, most of those cheesy special effect type late 90s films, but still, I don't think so. Not that impressed, probably will never get that film a try. Luckily for me, I wasn't quite privy to that. I've never seen the film, but judging by the trailer, I think I've seen kind of enough, because a lot of the things in there duplicated a lot of what was mostly in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which sucked. So happily to say, walking into this, I wasn't really shying away with it, which I'm sure a lot of you or a lot of people who've seen that 2000 film and were disgusted by it and was repulsed by it probably has for Honor Among Thieves. Luckily, I wasn't in that group. So walking into this, rolling into this, yeah, I was more tolerant. I wasn't as scared as I'm sure a lot of you who have seen that 2000 film was. Setting that aside, was I relieved that this film didn't resemble anything from what I've seen in the trailer of that 2000 film? Was this enjoyable or was it painful? Let's find out and start with the positives for Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. I do gotta say, the visuals, and I know this is ironic because I just mentioned how crappy the 2000 film looked. The special effects for this version was really good, and this proves once again how far we've come. Now that I'm saying this, I know I guess it isn't really that fair judging a movie that came out 23 years ago on that premise alone, but still, it goes without saying, it just proves once again how far CGI and green screens and special effects and technology has come from that age, from 23 years. For this film, the visuals was done really well, like with the dragons and the settings, and just the way it was shot visually, and it kind of sets out that Lord of the Rings / Hobbit vibe. I swear, if Peter Jackson was behind the camera, which he was not, but if he was, I kind of wouldn't be surprised. Not that I'm saying that this was full-blown Lord of the Rings feel, because like with those films was more dramatic, but I guess I'm just saying that because this film was set around that same time, or at least it looked like it, and it just, like with some of the shots, it kind of did resemble those films just a little bit. And the fact that this film was set around that same time in ancient times or wherever the hell. Plus characters dealing with mystic powers and supernatural elements, which the Lord of the Rings movies was definitely known for. An epic grand scheme of things. But the effects in it was pretty great. The effects in Dungeons & Dragons: Honor Among Thieves was done pretty well. Color me impressed. And the tone, there was some dark moments. There's some cool yet dark moments. You get some supernatural elements mixed with some lighter moments, like with the whole scene with the zombie when they're asking him those questions, and at the same time they're trying to be funny about it, which it shows that in the trailer, so I'm not giving anything away, but that scene pretty much made me laugh.
Were you killed in battle?
Yes.
Great. 4 more questions, right?
Yes.
No, that wasn't for you. Did that count as a question?
Yes.
Damn it.
Which kind of brings me to the comedy. It was actually done pretty decently. I could tolerate the comedy that this film was, bringing out. It was paced a lot better than what the Marvel and DC and all this other stuff that has been coming out. Lately I've been saying that there's been a trend on how they're doing comedy and how comedy is just not that appealing to me nowadays. But with this film, it actually impressed me just a little bit. I was debating on whether to put the comedy in the mix or not, but it's safe to say I think the comedy has pretty much kind of won me over a little bit more than what other films has been doing for me recently. And I think a lot of that also has to do with the pacing. You know, in the 2 hours and 14 minutes of this film, it actually felt a little faster because the pacing, it didn't feel like it veered off. It didn't feel like it steered away at all. It didn't feel slow. It didn't feel sluggish. I mean, for a story of these thieves trying to retrieve this relic and the main character played by Chris Pine trying to get his daughter back, it was a good story. The pacing, you know, for that reason alone, it worked. It never felt like it veered off. It felt genuine. Most of the time with movies that are set in ancient times, it's not usually my thing, unless it's Lord of the Rings or Hobbit, you know, which I really love those. Movies set in ancient times are usually not my thing, but if the pacing is done well and it's, you know, written well and there's a good story, I actually have a deep appreciation for it. And Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves did that. And you got a great cast. Chris Pine, who plays our main lead, who plays this father who's trying to get his daughter back, at the same time trying to retrieve this relic, which has a bigger, you know, story plot line within itself, which I won't get into. Chris Pine, he's got such charisma and charm. And then you got Michelle Rodriguez, who's pretty much a badass in about everything she plays in. You know, not only the Fast and Furious franchise, but everything she plays in. She kicks ass and takes names. She never plays a weak female type. She's always this strong, confident, and just whoop-ass woman that just... It's pretty much in Michelle Rodriguez's DNA that whenever she's in a movie, she no play no weak woman. She's always tough. You mess with her, you get put down, pretty much. And that's the type of character that she plays in this film. And it's nice seeing her in something other than the Fast and Furious trilogy and the Fast and Furious saga. It's nice seeing her in something else other than that, which is all we basically ever really get to see her in nowadays. Plus the dynamic between the other characters was done really well. And they established early on that they got this whole family vibe, which is pretty nice. Even though they're not related, they have a deep connection to each other. Their backstories alone, especially with Chris Pine's character, which again I won't get into, but he's got like one of those strong backstories that, you know, really makes you want to root for this character, want to sympathize for him. But the dynamic, not only between him and Michelle Rodriguez, but the other cast was done really well. It just set up some of those characters that you want in a film like this, that you want to care about, that you can follow very easily and just root for them every step of the way. I just thought they played off each other very well for that reason alone. And again, this kind of goes back to the visuals, but the action was great. It's very stylistic. It's very straightforward. And again, going back to the pacing, the action was done very well. Not John Wick well. I mean, this is a different genre entirely, a different type entirely. The action was done very well, that the pacing was, you know, it just suited it. It really helped the amount of action that we get here. And moving on to my mixed, we don't really get that, you know, strong of a villain. The villain that we get is fine. When she shows up, she shows up. You know, I'll just say it that way. She was great when she actually shows up, but she wasn't in it that much. The villain is this bald-headed woman with a red cape or a red robe. She's like a demon or a wizard or whatever, with one simple, you know, plot, which is usually world domination and by doing whatever evil deeds that these villains mainly usually do. But she wasn't in it that much. The film kind of veers away and just kind of focuses on Hugh Grant, which, by the way, great actor, down in his abilities. But I didn't feel like this film had a plausible enough villain in order for you to know that these characters was against any real threat, because she felt like a side character. Because again, going back to my statement about how they kept on focusing on Hugh Grant and how he betrayed the others, it just didn't really feel cohesive. But again, at the same time, when the villain does show up, mainly by the third act, she was actually pretty good. She was great, actually. I just felt like that was kind of a missed opportunity. But again, it pissed me off completely. It's not the worst I've seen. In the end, guys, this is definitely worth seeing, especially on the big screen. It deserves to be on a pedestal. So Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, what was your thoughts on it? Have you seen it yet? Are you a fan? Was this your favorite adaptation? Did this win you over, or was this not for you? Was the 2000 version more your speed? Leave me a comment down below and give me your thoughts. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this. I really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment, and share the big four. And also click that bell icon so you don't miss a thing. Always. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.